Hello, everybody. It's Ashley, and I'm so sorry for having such a long break in between posting and everything. I promise you that I am, in fact, working on some new content and all of that. Um, First of all, I am currently working on a video about the Danish slaughterhouse, which is kind of one of my sprited ones, but I'm drawing each of them individually this time because I'm still working on some new ones as I finally picked a hair color I actually like and I'm going to stick with. Also, this is going to be my non-traditional way of doing this as I'm kind of learning new ways to record and edit everything on my computer instead of on my phone, finally. So, thank you all for your patience, and I know you've been waiting for this, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get to reading Chapter 2 of Why You Shouldn't Let Sealand Plan a Prank and Why You Shouldn't Let Belarus Help Him. I am very intent on getting through all of this before Halloween, and maybe posting the final chapter on Halloween, even though there's quite a few chapters and we might not make it. Who in their right mind would schedule a meeting on a holiday? This is such a pain in the arse, Britton complained, impatiently patting down a stubborn cowlick sticking up off the side of his head. He stared uneasily up at the shabby 3-story building in front of him. And where are the rest of the nations? I'm not sure. They could just be late, Germany said, though he didn't sound very sure. They had all noticed the other countries' cars parked near the meeting place when they arrived, but the vehicle's owners had yet to make an appearance. That would be like them, Norway sighed, approaching the door. He tried to open it, but found that it wouldn't budge. Are you sure this is the right meeting address? The door is locked, not to mention that this place looks awfully run down, he commented. This is the address that we all received in the mail, is it not? Germany asked gruffly. It is, I'm sure of it, Lithuania interjected. Sweden nodded to confirm the statement. Let me try the door, Russia implored with his usual smile. Norway stepped aside and then blinked in surprise as the rusty doorknob twisted easily under Russia's touch and the door flew open with a loud squeal. The hallway that lay beyond it was pitch dark. Should we go in? Canada whispered, his voice even more hushed than usual. Several frightened nations jumped about a foot in the air. Oh, you're right there, Canada. I didn't even see— Oh, never mind, that's rude, I'm sorry. Lithuania gushed as soon as he landed back on the ground. It's fine, Canada said sullenly. It happens all the time. Where was Prussia, he wondered. Prussia never forgot about him. Let's go in. Hong Kong grinned and strode up to the door. I was supposed to be taking notes and stuff at this meeting, but this place is super ghetto-ish. I don't even think there is a meeting. Are you sure we should go in there? As you said, this building doesn't look very stable, Britton inquired, staring into the gloomy room. I don't see the harm. If there really is a meeting of some kind, it wouldn't be very good of us to be late, Russia commented pleasantly, leading the way into the hall without hesitation. Lithuania nervously followed in suit and sighed with relief when he was trailed by Britain, Hong Kong, Switzerland, Greece, Germany, Romano, Canada, Norway, and Sweden. Stalking down the hallway in complete darkness, each nation began to feel more and more on edge. Strange shuffling sounds could be heard all around, but none could be sure if it was their own companion's footsteps or something else. Or someone else. The assembled personifications had traveled about 100 meters when Canada piped up from the back of the group. Does anyone have a flashlight? Lithuania cursed at his own stupidity as he pulled out his smartphone from his pocket. Of course, I have my phone right here. I am so sorry I did not do the thinking of that before. No, it's all right, eh? None of the rest of us thought of it until now either, Canada assured him. Lithuania nodded numbly, then tapped the screen several times before it lit up, illuminating the room they had entered. There were several small light fixtures dotting the walls, but the nations couldn't find any kind of switch which would turn them on. A single door, painted blood red, stood in the corner, both inviting and terrifying at once. More flashlights flickered on as they split up to traverse the room, and the countries eventually stumbled across a slit in the wall. Lithuania held his flashlight up to it and ran his fingers down the little notch, confused. "What is this?" he questioned, trying to peer into it. Russia took a step toward him to assist in the investigation, then halted when he stepped on a rather creaky floorboard and heard a distinct click. Without warning, America burst through the door on the other side of the room, sprinting towards the Baltic nation and frantically pushing him away from the wall. America had a nasty-looking black eye and several bruises running up his legs as if something had been gripping his ankles, dragging him away. Russia's eyes went wide as a knife flew from the wall, piercing America's side just over his heart. Lithuania went tumbling to the floor with a yelp of pain, then immediately shot back up to aid the American, who was laying on the ground, holding his side. The other nations couldn't speak, each of them awed and disbelieving. Russia cried out and ran to his lover. "America, no! What happened? Stay with me!" he pleaded in a haze of disorientation and sorrow. "Get out! Get out of here!" America whispered before he was overtaken by an awful coughing fit. He reached up weakly, as if to caress Russia's face, and Russia gently took his hand, tears welling in his eyes and spilling over his cheeks. "Please, don't stay. The shadow," America begged. "What? What are you saying? Don't go! Please don't go!" Russia wailed, desperately wanting to hold America close, but knowing that the pressure would only hasten the other man's demise. What was he to do? Was he about to lose the one person he'd ever loved? America's blue eyes began to fade. His hand slipped from Russia's grasp. His mouth opened as if he was about to say his final words. But there was only silence. Britain held one hand over his mouth, sobbing quietly. "America!" Canada stood by his side, tears of his own dripping down his face as he hunched over and cried in the way only a man whom the world has broken can. Russia closed America's unseeing eyes, as if in a daze, then lifted himself to his feet. "Whoever has done this will pay," he growled, his soft voice resonating like thunder. The crushing silence continued, broken only by Canada and Britain's hushed weeping. Finally, Lithuania spoke up. "What do we do?" No one was quite sure how to answer. "Should we keep moving, or should we leave?" Greece murmured slowly. The disturbed, agitated aura enveloping the group seemed to descend even further, choking out any hope of a response. Russia dried his tears with the end of his scarf and stared down at the now lifeless form of the man he had once loved, still loved. The nation stooped down to lift America's body off of the floor, pulling the knife from his side with a nasty shick that made Britain flinch and step forward as if to steal the corpse away. Canada laid a hand on his shoulder to stop him, then jerked back as Britain whipped around with a mutinous look in his eyes. Seeing his child's fear, he immediately relented and wrapped Canada in a hug that he accepted without a word, new tears flooding his eyes. While the father and son comforted each other, Russia swept America's blonde hair away from his face and kissed his forehead one last time. He would never let go, he decided. He would keep his love with him until he couldn't anymore. "I think we should leave," Switzerland declared once the three had calmed down marginally. "It obviously isn't safe here." "But we can't go! You saw all the cars outside, right? If all those nations are trapped in this place, we can't leave them behind," Lithuania insisted. Switzerland scowled. "Well, if you already knew you were going to stay, then why did you ask what we should do?" Lithuania bit his lip, his hands clenched into fists at his side. "I won't leave anyone behind if they're in danger. Shouldn't we call the police?" he rebunked scathingly. "There's no service here. I can't send or receive anything," Hong Kong wailed and froze. Did anybody else hear that creepy noise? Like a blade cutting through something? The phrase appeared to trigger something in Britain's mind. He went white as a sheet and very cautiously inquired, "What did it sound like?" I think I may have heard it," Norway stammered. "There were footsteps, and then a loud noise. Did no one else hear it? It sounded loud to me." Britain rushed up to the Nordic country and rather violently shook him by the shoulders. "And you didn't think to mention this before?" "I'm sorry, it really didn't seem like the time. How am I to know what it was?" Norway snapped, yanking himself out of Britain's grip. His eyes trailed after the English nation as he sprinted to the door that America had run through, which was still hanging open. Britain was muttering what sounded like the muffled words, "No, no, no, no," under his breath over and over again. His breath caught as he burst into the next room. Finally, we did it! We did it! Can I have a kiss? Mwah! Mwah! Yay! So many pig bloopers today. So many pigs. Okay, so I totally forgot to record a outro, so thank you so much everyone who tuned in to listen today. I really appreciate it if you did. Please leave a like and comment any suggestions for other fan fictions to read in the future, and I might just consider doing it. Once again, as I always say, to each their own, and have an amazing day. Ha det!